Carl Craig is an American electronic musician and producer from Detroit, and is known as being one of the pioneers in the second wave of Detroit techno. He released his first album in 1995 and has released seven more since, and he appears to be still active. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of more songs about food and revolutionary art by Carl Craig, released in 1997. It was his third album, and it's, I think, my first encounter with him. It's certainly my first knowing encounter with him. So this is mostly instrumental electronica. It's quite varied. There are occasional bits of singing. There's one track that's basically a song, which is As Time Goes By, sitting under a tree. One track which is really unusual for the album is Attitude, which is just female vocal, wordless singing, kind of like a scat. It reminded me of Sheila Chandra's Speaking in Tongues, but that's more speaking than singing. This was definitely singing. It's probably my favourite track on the album, but it's different for the rest of the album. And it's maybe unfair to. It's kind of weird for an electronic musician to throw in something like this, but obviously his choice. Some of it is quite actually the kind of musical track, which is all the others. Actually, it's a song that's musical. Some of it's quite ravey. Excuse me. So I guess that's the techno aspect coming in. There's a certain approach to syncopation that I always think of as being techno slash rave slash all the other names that are connected with that sort of movement. Butterfly is a track that's particularly like that, I would say. I'm gonna pull out some of the tracks here and just do some description. So Dreamland has string pads that kind of floaty and mellow with a techno beat and bass going on underneath it. Goodbye World has ethereal noises and a deep synth bass and a jangly piano, which are two words that I didn't know could even go together, and no drums. Televised Green Smoke has a synth-based groove with chords. It reminded me of some of Alan Parsons' project's instrumentals. There are a few shorter things that are just about having a sound. So Alien Talk and Act 2. It's very varied, which is good. But also this means there's quite a varied response from me to it. So I like some of the tracks, especially the more expansive ones. There's some good electronica here. There were some elements, though, that I disliked. There were some more grating sounds in here. There was some noises that I kind of couldn't work out. Why has he put that stuff in, that noise? And then just finding it irritating me. I disliked some of the, at times, the feeling of aimlessness. Sometimes I was kind of picking up, I think, on the fact that on occasions his chord sequences they weren't kind of sequences that went round and round. He'd kind of wander chord-wise. He'd just do, what shall I do next? It feels like he's playing it live, the chords, and then just kind of going, where do I go? And I'm a bit less keen on the techno syncopated rhythms. So there is obviously a wide range of stuff that comes under the name electronica. And I have very different associations in my past between things like Jean-Michel Jarre and stuff that came through that sort of route. And for example, Rhythm is a Dancer, which is a classic kind of techno track. Which I was not a huge fan of that stuff at that time, and I guess those associations are still with me. That I don't necessarily like it when it goes kind of keyboard stuff. Anyway, overall, then I've got mixed feelings about this album. There were bits of it that I go, yeah, I'd quite happily have that on a mixtape of stuff. There were others that I'd rather not listen to that again. So that's how I feel. But as always, it's just my thoughts. I mean, I know that's what a review is, but I'd love to find out what your thoughts are on this album. So please, will you share in the conversation with me and anyone else who cares to read them by leaving a comment on your thoughts on the album. And that's it from me for now.